we'll start with a bit of an introduction to all the people here, and then we'll go into what poetry is, a bit of the history of the Cody docs, which is actually really interesting. Obviously, this is all to do with Newham's heritage, so I think it'd be nice to hear. And then there's a quick 11-form poem, which I hadn't actually heard of before I spoke to Sylvia a couple of days ago about it, but it's a really interesting kind of short way of going to poetry, kind of dispelling some of the ideas and preconceptions you may have about poetry only being things that rhyme. So I think that'll be a nice way to start. And then we'll make some actual poetry, which you can obviously share with us if you're interested. And then we'll have a wrap up. So yeah, packed day, good hour.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Michelle. So no, I was just would like to say something because you're talking about like writing. And I think like writing is a lot about, it's about inspiration, but also about techniques. So we can learn skills to be better writers. But I think like the first thing is to want to, and something really nice that I think everybody's saying, like you like to read. To be a good writer, reading a lot is the first step. So everybody's good here because I can see everybody likes to read. So this is the first step to, be a good writer. So now I would like to share you a little bit the history of the Cody docs. But before starting, I would like to know, what is poetry for you? Because like poetry has so many different meanings. And I think like, so poetry for you is rhyme, poetry. What is poetry for you? Is like something that is beautiful. How do you see poetry? I would love to hear some opinions about this.
I think that poetry is a deep way of describing love, whatever your poem is about. Just goes deep with the soul and it really gets your emotions out.
Beautiful, thank you. Yes. And anyone else would like to share? Like, what do you think poetry is for you? Michelle, you look like you want to say something. I would love
I
to
can
hear
go for
from
something.
You. Yes, please.
I think I struggled a lot with poetry when I was younger because I think it's kind of put into boxes when you're younger. It's kind of things that rhyme, and you have the ABAB rhyme scheme, or acrostic poems where every like line has to start with a specific letter and everything. But I think being part of this, and even just speaking to you and what your idea of poetry is and your passion for it, I think, yeah, poetry really is just any type of writing that doesn't have a specific format, like you said. I think that's one of the things that kind of pushed me more towards creative writing rather than poetry. But I think poetry, just writing that interests you, something that describes something, an emotion, a thing, just, yeah, poetry.
Yes, thank you. Yes, poetry is all this together. I extremely believe in the idea that like poetry, there is a writer, he says like that poetry is everything that you cannot put inside the box when you're writing, everything that is not like, because you have, this is fiction, this is, you're writing, you have a different kind of writing if you're writing for a newspaper or magazine, if you're, there are different kinds of writing. And he says everything that you cannot label inside the words of writing is poetry. So I go with him because I really like this idea of like poetry to be something free that you can just use to express yourself. So for example, the poem that I was reading in the beginning from Maya Angelou is a poem which is like very so about her growing up and some prejudices that she had to fight against. So, she's, can you hear me? Because I think my internet's fine again. Okay, great. So I think like, poetry can be used for storytelling. You can tell a story, it can be your story, someone's story. You can, describe things, you can use your emotions. So there are many ways of making poetry. And all these different types of approach, they're all perfect and correct, and they are all poetry. So yes, so I will share again the PowerPoint with you. So now I would like to tell you a little bit about the history of the Cody dogs. I would like to show you, okay, we did a few images. This, I don't know if you've ever been there in this area. It's like Canning Town area, Bromley by Bow Gas Works. They have these beautiful memorial gardens. And they are here where you can see the old gas works. They are still there. I don't know if anyone have ever been around there. No? Yeah, so yeah, this is a really, really magical and beautiful place because, you know, there were, when you talk about the history of the area, we had like, you know, in the past, people who would work where you can see the gasometer.
A bit
Sorry?
like Galleon's Reach. The furniture like Galleon's Reach.
Have you been there?
Yes, it's the first picture looks a bit.
Okay.
There's
This.
a thing. No, the second
this
slide.
One? Yeah.
Yes, and the first picture on there.
Okay, wonderful. So did you enjoy visiting the area? Yeah, no.
Oh, I don't know.
Great that you had the chance.
Yeah, I think it's the one. It's the one at Galleon's Reach that Lily went to. There's at the supermarket. Just when you go in, you go past this amazing old Victorian gas holder right by the road. But it's near, further in the docks, isn't it? It's not at Bromley by Bow.
No, okay, yeah, because you have a few around East London because it was very an area like really industrial. So we have like many gasometers around this area. So yeah. So I would like to talk to you a little bit more about this area, and then I would like to propose you to do a quick poetry exercise based on it. So basically today you're going to talk, we're talking about this area because I would like to talk a little bit about like what the workers of the Cody dogs were doing when they were not working actually. So you're talking a little bit about the leisure and what they were doing outside work. So yes, they would visit these beautiful gardens, but also the Canning Town Hall and Free Library that I will show you next. So yeah, this is an area that the workers would go to socialize. They would have like tea, they would have music, you know, dance, socialize, chat, relax between work, you know, because they probably, yeah, because they and then in the future, the same area became a memorial because during, sorry. So then later it became a memorial. I was just trying to remember the dates, but it was in the late 80s, early 90s. But I think like this area became a memorial in the early 60s, sorry for my memory, because like originally you had like the gasometers that we can see, they were 8. And after the Second World War, there was, you know, bombs and things like this. So today, if you visit the area, you only be able to see 7 of them. And then since the 60s, you have these memorial gardens with names of people who lost their lives during the Second World War. So it's amazing that, you know, you can still walk through history because, you know, this is where the staff of the gas works would go to enjoy a little bit between like the really hard work that they would do working in the gasometer. So I would like to now propose a quick exercise. and you're gonna have like 10 minutes to do it. I will show you what the exercise is, and then we can, oops, I can leave like the images for you on screen, so you can get inspired by these pictures to do the writing exercise. So this is something really interesting. It's called 11 form. So you're gonna have, if you can see here, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. In the first line, you're gonna write 1 word. In the second line, 2 words. In the third line, 3 words. In the fourth line, 4 words. And in the last one, 1 word again. And then at the end, you're gonna have like 11 words. So how are we going to do this? Looking again at the pictures, I would like you to observe the colors, the shapes, and how you respond to the pictures. What do you see in the pictures? How does it make you feel? You know, and what does it makes you wonder? Like how the workers of the Cody docks would meet, what they would do. Would you imagine like they would just have a tea? They would, you know, have lunch there between, you know, work, listen to music. I don't know what your imagination will say, because like we don't really have any pictures showing it. So that's why I would like to invite you to imagine today, and then we can get inspired for one of these 2 pictures. So we have like green, lots of green. This, and then this. So I would like to give you 10 minutes to go through this like 11 form, and then write something, but just like free your mind. Don't worry much, like we don't need to share if you don't want, but we can also share at the end, but like you're not, you don't have to. But I would love you to create something based on this format, because it's something that you will be surprised how at the end you have a poem with just few words, you know. So Michelle, should we do the time now?
Sure, I can set a timer up.
And I don't know if anyone, do you have any questions, anything else you would like to add, any comments? I don't know if you would like to copy this, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 again. Because then I can leave it, or I can even do something like this. Can do it here. Maybe so we can. If I do it here, can you see it? So maybe it's easier to, okay. So from now I have like 10 minutes to write something based on these images that I'm sharing with you. Oops, sorry. How's everyone going?
I don't know what to write.
No? Okay. We
I have
can...
no ideas.
Sorry?
I have no ideas.
You don't have ideas at the moment? That's
no,
fine.
I don't.
We can, for example, when you look at these pictures, like how do you feel? Because, for example, when the pictures were taken, the sky was quite cloudy. So I thought like one of the words, for example, that's this pictures, one of the words maybe I would say, you can even use things like this, like the cloud sky, gasometers, green, you know, can talk about the shapes, like empty, or you can even say the opposite, you know, we can imagine there's like a party and lots of people there. So you can talk, you know, about the lives of, reimagining the lives of the workers. But don't worry if nothing comes up now. You're gonna do one more exercise as well. Or feel free, if you prefer to do it in a different format, there is not the 11 form. You can just write whatever comes to your mind, like when you look at these images, you know, whatever comes to your mind, just write down. Even if you're just describing, you can just describe if you prefer, if you feel more comfortable with this.
That was the 10 minutes, I think, yeah.
Yes, but maybe you can wait a little bit more. If you're still writing, that's fine. Wait another minute or so. Thank you, Michelle, for just... So should we move to the next one? Says everybody wrote a little bit. Could you have a chance to write a little bit? How was it? Would you like to share something? Did you manage to write something?
Yes, I it's about workers coming back to life as zombies.
It's about zombies.
Underground creatures poke holes, scaring away all the moles. Rotten flesh hanging off from the mouth spills out broth. Broken teeth are sit everywhere, giving everybody a good tear. Skin and bones, that's what they are, and on the head sits a jar. Eyes popping out, these are the zombie workers.
Wow, that's incredible. I love it. Such an imagination, you see, that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. So I think I'll move to the next one because it's really interesting story. So this is the Canning Town Public Hall and Library. I don't know if anyone of you have been there by any chance, because they do lots of workshops there as well, like arts and writing. So basically this building was one of the meeting points for the workers of the Cody docks. They would go to this beautiful building, which is a listed building, which means it's a building that they cannot put this building down. You know, it has to be there telling the history of this area and this place. And it's amazing because in this building, okay, sorry, my computer was funny here. Yeah, so it was in this building that, for example, the suffragettes like Sylvia Pankhurst would give speeches and talk about the rights to vote of, for us women. We didn't have the right to vote until like not long ago. And the first meetings, one of the places they would meet was this beautiful building, which is like, I don't have any pictures of the inside, but like it's an Italian Art Deco building, and it's well kept, and it has a very beautiful history because the building was abandoned for a while, and the own community got together to make it a community space, and it's still there. There is a charity that runs the building, so yes. I invite you, if you have a chance, to visit when you have a chance, because it's really amazing. Okay, but this beautiful building, during the World War, see what happened. There was bombs, devastating part of the building, which was like very sad. So that's why the building was closed for a while as well. But what intrigues me the most is like people really liked the library at the time because they managed to do something to make the library keep going even when it was bombarded. What happens that they had this mobile library. So it was a car that would go around the streets, and then you could borrow books. And it's very intriguing to see, the kind of like structure they had. Like it was very beautiful. Just after the year after the library was bombarded, we had this. And yeah, this is another interesting picture because we can see, sorry for the red dots on the screen. I don't know why they are here, but they are not in the picture. Basically, this is like the people working in the library in the 50s. So they were just like taking this picture, and you can see like the clothes they were wearing. So it, I think it gives us the vibe of like the 50s when this picture was taken. And the last picture I would like to show is this one, which I think is like the gorgeous picture, because it shows, the women in the library listening to music. because, you know, in the past, this is something to have like a record player was something that not everybody would afford to have. So they were like in the library listening to music. So now what I would like to propose to you is to write a poem based on these images. I will show with you again. Oops, but I don't know why. My sharing is not working. Let me stop and share again. Technical issues. I don't know why today. Okay, it's just stopped sharing out of the blue and it's not sharing again. So I would like...
Can I do something?
Yeah.
Let me just check. Sorry.
Like suddenly it stopped sharing.
Try again now?
Yes, let me see. Thank you. Yes, now it's working. So yeah, I would like to invite you to write, maybe you can have a little bit less than 10 minutes so we have time to share at the end, but like to think of, you know, imagine the lives of the people in these pictures, what they were talking about, you know, which music do you think they were listening to? You know, if you were to have a book from the mobile library, which book do you think you would find in the library? Would be like children's books, would be poetry books. So I would like, you know, you can even write from the perspective of the photographer. You can be, you know, the photographer telling the stories of these people. So I would like you to write just a very free poem about, you know, these pictures. So what do you see in these pictures? How can you reimagine the lives of the people in the pictures, the lives of the workers of the Cody docks? So I will have the pictures here up. I will change the pictures and maybe, Michelle, should we do maybe 5 minutes instead? So, and then let's see what we can write in 5 minutes and then we can share. So we have some time to share as well. Okay, and then if you have any questions, any doubts, just let me know and we can chat a little bit more if you want to. But I'm really curious to see where your imagination will take you to in these pictures.
Sylvia, I had a quick question because I'm doing the exercises as well.
Wonderful.
I just wondered, does it have to be about history and about what happened in these pictures at this time, or can it be something?
No, it can be, you can
because
just
I don't know much about that time in history.
Yes, so actually the idea is the opposite, to imagine, to create. So you're gonna create characters. Doesn't have to be, you know, exactly something that happened in the past, but to reimagine their lives and, you know, what they would be talking about, or, you know. So yes, perfect, thank you. It's a good question. Great, thank you. Change a little bit.
It's been 5 minutes now, yeah.
So how's everyone? Great. So who would like to share? Maybe I will stop sharing the screen. And I would love to hear from you. Yes,
so I write, come to the station, a tape that feeds innovation. Cars beep all around, vibrations zoom through the ground. Bang, crash, did something fall? Yes, a wall.
Wow, it's amazing. Thank you. Great. I love the way he created the history of the pictures. It's really cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow. Who else would like to share? I'd love to hear all to hear poems or what you came up with, ideas. Anyone else? No, I will share with you a link. I'll put here in the chat box. We have a Google Docs, a Google document. Let me see. Can everyone access the link I sent to you? So I would love if you would like to later add your poems to this Google document so we can share with everyone your poems. Or you can send us as well. I don't know when we share the PowerPoint with the images, we could also add the poems. So if you could share your poems on the Google document, would be great. I don't know if you would like to do that, everyone. Be a good idea.
But Sylvia, that was really wonderful. I've been really inspired. Thank you so much. And Michelle, thank you for supporting as well. It's been really nice, just a small group of people just to share some thoughts about where we're from and the research that you've done. It's really inspiring. Thank you. Yeah. So
thanks everyone who joined. Thanks so much for participating, for sharing. It's been really great to be here with you all. And keep writing, because I really believe like everyone, we have this like writer, poet inside of us. Just let the poet flourish, because, we can write poetry. I've seen amazing things today. So really, thanks everyone for joining in and sharing.